Thank you for listening to my Postdoc Transformation show. Maybe you want to leap out of science and start your own side business as a runway for your better future? Then you will benefit from my free business preparation quiz as linked in the show notes. If you want to organize your marketing and selling efforts, please also subscribe to my new video podcast show, Creating Reorganized. I share my tricks from creating this show, speak with business owners who run a podcast for their business, and learn from podcasting service providers about their tools boosting our businesses. My new video podcast show, Creating Reorganized, will also be a living example of applied industrial and occupational psychology for my students in real life. And now, let's get to this episode. Postdoc Transformation. Postdoc Transformation. Postdoc Transformation. Invest in your postdoc transformation. Welcome to the seasonal show for scientists leaping into business. In every sponsored episode, we are happy to recommend employers of choice for you. Make sure to check your readiness to leap out of science with us for free, as linked in the show notes. For your career transition, we offer customized career transition e-courses and memberships also at graduate schools all over the world. Maybe yours too. And if your university isn't yet our customer, enroll in your free email course for career transition made simple, as linked in the show notes. I'm your host, Professor Dr. Eleonore Soei-Winkels, with my team who is rooting for you. And let's build your postdoc transformation with this episode. Dear Postdoc Transformers, welcome back to this episode of the Postdoc Transformation Show. This is going to be a gem for everyone who is an introvert because, yes, I am one myself. So, in my interview series, I have been talking to so many incredible scientists who are today thriving in business as managing directors, partners, headhunters, senior managers. They're brilliant minds just like you on the fence of making that leap, that magic leap from academia to business. And please let me know in the comments whether you have also listened to all of these wonderful interviews. Because to me, my interviewees are inspiring. And most interesting is that not all of them are extroverts. Some of them are also introverts. And maybe that relates to you as well. So in my direct messages, I often get a note like, how do I network? Especially if I'm an introvert, I don't like networking at all. The thought of a crowded conference hall is so frightening, and even more so if it's a business event. That really makes me want to run. Well, dear Postdoc Transformer, we're going to be diving into networking for introverts beyond the scientific conferences, building a business bridge one authentic connection at a time. So we're going to transform your fears into opportunities. When I mention networking, for many of you, especially my introverted scientists, might worry about being perceived as salesy or inauthentic. You might dread the awkward silences or not knowing what to say. So the fear of rejection, making a bad impression, or even losing that cherished academic identity, thinking if I behave like this, someone will not perceive me as a scientist anymore. That is all very real. And then there's also this nagging thought of maybe you're thinking, all my academic knowledge is just not valued anymore, and I have to depreciate that in the real business world. All this networking event next year, next half year, next week, I don't know. That is simply a waste of my precious time in the lab. I need to do my research, and then I can focus on career transition. Well, all of these things are valid, but we have to dissect that. And especially the thing of, I don't have time for that, can be a risky decision. I know how it feels. I also had to decide on these things, and I also had the same fears. But let me tell you, beneath those very valid fears, I know there's also more of you that could shine in a better place than academia. And if you want to leap from academia to business, you need to network. No one will lift you from here to another place just like this. You have to build your bridge. You have to walk all by yourself. No one will do that for you. And networking is building a safety net so that if something goes wrong, you will land softly. Let's pause for a moment to respect those who sponsor this valuable episode. I want to share with you my best marketing agent. Serving my underprivileged, underrepresented, and underserved audience, leads and clients is key for me as an Asian working mom, business owner, and professor in Germany. But I can't be marketing and selling all the time, and I have to be mindful with my own resources. So I chose Podbean as my podcasting host and monetizing provider. I'm on the Unlimited Plus plan for our PostdocTransformation show and Creating Reorganized show. With Podbean, your audience can inclusively listen and watch your podcast according to their visual and auditive needs. You can also embed your customized podcast player on your external website or use one of the beautiful website templates. You can easily share your podcast on all major podcasting directories, which allow you to reach a huge audience on their favorite devices in their countries. Podbean also has an ads marketplace, and you can easily attract and manage sponsors for dynamic ads, which are played out depending on your audience criteria. This way, you can serve your audience for free. Some of them become your clients eventually, but your advertising sponsors independently support you financially in each episode. You will see insightful stats per demographic and which episodes attracted most listeners, so you can tailor your future episodes for your leads and clients and present suitable external ads. If you want to try out Podbean for your own podcasting, DM or email me Podbean so I can share my experience and consult you. Please check it out via my link in the show notes. I only get a small financial reward if you become their customer using my Podbean link. Thanking our advertisers for their financial support, we are happy to return to our inspiring episode. Maybe you are now yearning to fulfilling and purposeful roles in business where your scientific expertise isn't just accepted, appreciated, but actually truly valued. Maybe you want to build a supportive professional community outside of academia, which helps you to be still a scientist in business or to return to academia if you ever want to. And maybe you are dreaming also of achieving financial stability. You don't have any role models who have stability financial-wise because all of your peers are scientists under precarious working conditions. I remember so vividly, and still today, my husband, who has majored in business, always says, what's in it for you? Is it really worth it? Even though I have been in business for many years now, I still collapse from time to time back into my scientist identity, thinking of, I love this, I'm intrinsically motivated, so I do this, and it's extra, going above and beyond, and you have to control that. And finding role models is key for you if you aren't like that. And that is how you can really benefit from networking. Same goes for work-life balance. You need to have better role models than academia usually fosters and nurtures. If you network with the right people, you can gain clarity on potential career paths, make a tangible impact beyond publications, and successfully leap into business without feeling overwhelmed or losing who you are. You need to find the right role models with networking because you are worth it. So now, if you agree that you want to network more efficiently and more effectively, let's think about the actual hurdles. I always say as a psychologist, you have to think of internal versus external factors. Let's start with the internal factors. You might wrestle with self-doubt. You might think, oh, my social skills aren't great. I always overthink interactions, and the sheer unfamiliarity and volume of business networking can really feel overwhelming. And you might even believe that your deep specialization, your expertise might be intimidating for business professionals. Maybe it's your natural tendency to prefer solitary and deep focus, because after all, that is what made you a brilliant scientist. But these internal resistances can keep you away from reaching out. And externally, the landscape can be tricky. With online events, it's easier. Think of where do you find relevant business networking events online, but also in your vicinity, on-premise, somewhere else, beyond academic conferences. Either way, with business people, the etiquette of how to socialize and how to communicate, these are all different. And identifying the right people to connect with can feel like searching a needle in a haystack. The next question is, how do you translate your amazing academic skills into a business context without sounding like talking in a foreign language? And let's be honest, some business networks can feel like elite or cliquish, unwelcoming for people who think differently. It's hard to find those genuinely non-transactional opportunities, but you can find them. Hey, before we continue, we want to appreciate those who finance this valuable episode for you. I want to share with you my time and energy saver. As a professor for industrial and occupational psychology, I also teach about the future of work, and as a former IT strategy consultant, of course, I embrace AI to be a future-proof podcast producer of the Postdoc Transformation show and the Creating Reorganized show. Descript is the video and audio podcast editing tool of my choice. I pay for their creator plan, and it's worth every dollar. Descript comes with an integrated professional remote recording studio for the best audio quality for your guests and you. For example, I record an hour interview with a guest or a solo, and instead of painstakingly doing a rough cut and deleting all the ums and ahs and filler words and rambling around, which I did for hours, I now click on Descript's AI, editing for clarity, and my rough cut is done in seconds or a minute. For fine-tuning, I edit text instead of audio waves, and I just insert all my pre-recorded music, intro, ads, and outro, like this one, in a matter of minutes. I can then easily export closed captions, fine-tune AI-driven summaries, chapter markers, and titles, which I feed into my show notes and podcast host. Descript even suggests the best clips for social media, and their video editor automatically includes the synchronized speakers' cameras and audio captions. I can also include stock graphics or pre-recorded videos. You can find our short-form examples on our Instagram and TikTok at PostdocTransformation. If you want to try out Descript for your own podcast editing, DM or email me, Descript, so I can share my experience and consult you. Please check it out via my link in the show notes. I only get a small financial reward if you become their customer using my Descript link. After this quick appreciation of our sponsors, we are now back in our insightful episode. And then, of course, you can think of your own struggles that really go deep. Like, true intellectual work should not require advertising or promoting. And it's also superficial to talk about blah, blah, blah. So while you're networking, you don't want to waste your time. You want to go into the nitty-gritty with a very selected set of people, ideally that you already know. But that is not networking, dear postdoc transformer. If you are just socializing with people you know, you are not building a bridge that will help you leap out of sight. You can feel a conflict of academic values, of pure knowledge pursuit, and profit-driven values of business. Maybe you think, do I really fit in? Would I be happy in a business culture? Maybe you're thinking, this networking is really a deviation of my core scientific identity. These are all valid feelings, and it's absolutely natural to retract. But I promise you, if you don't limit yourself, try out new things in networking, then you will build your bridge, brick by brick. Since I've been talking about building a bridge, I also want you to listen to episode 60, which is Building a Bridge for Your Postdoc Transformation. maybe my own story is helpful for you. And I will share also my best tips for networking, which I also share with my students. So this is essentially a recording for them. And I will add a lot of aspects for you as well. Networking is my key to move fast to where I want to go. Okay, so today I'm a professor for industrial and occupational psychology. I'm a career transition coach since 2014, and I am a podcaster for both of my Postdoc Transformation show and the Creating Reorganized show. And all of these stages I have only achieved because I have been networking with the right people at the right place and time. And I don't want to go into details of how I podcast and how I became a professor and why I'm a working mom, etc., because I do think that I have already covered that in previous episodes. But in a nutshell, if I had not reached out to others for help at the different stages of my career, I would still be stuck in my old career, probably without children, and bitter because I would not be aligned with my vision of life. And if you have a strong vision of life, I encourage you to network with whoever might be a potential multiplier for your own postdoc transformation. All right, so let me share my own 10 practical tips that make my networking at in-person events efficient and effective. Number 1, it drains me. Okay, networking does drain me. So I commit to a set amount of hours, like 2 hours of active networking or so, depending on the event length. I'm on time and I leave at my planned time because I owe it to myself to be respectful with my own resources. Number 2, I come prepared. Before I enter the stage or the room or whatever, I know the speakers and organizers' names. I know why I want to network. I have made a plan beforehand, so I know who I want to meet, and upon arrival, I screen the attendance sheet to check whether some of the people I want to meet will come or not, or even are already there. Number 3, I find a place where I can feel comfortable, okay? I go to the restroom before I have to, so that I don't have to take a break if networking is going well. And number 4, I wear things that make me feel good. Number 5, I have a bag which helps me to carry all the things that I might get through networking, merchandise, leaflets, or whatever. And number 6, my mobile is charged and I have my LinkedIn profile QR ready to share, just to share it, just to show it around so that I can connect with the people. So it's usually the screensaver of that given day. And number 7, I have an elevator pitch about myself memorized in multiple variations. My elevator pitch differs from event to event. But like I said, before going to an event, I already know why I want to go there. So that is my elevator pitch about myself. Hey, before we continue, we want to appreciate those who finance this valuable episode for you. And once you have determined your readiness to leap and want to transition into business or industries, then you can enroll in your free email course with 10 actionable, bingeable email lessons until you start your job in business. You'll get 10 emails like this. Number 1, how to leap out of science. Number 2, how to build your sustainable LinkedIn profile. Number 3, how to read social media and network. Number 4, how to research your favorite jobs and employers. Number 5, how to do informational interviews to get insights. Number 6, how to create your customized applications with ChatGPT. Number 7, how to prepare your thesis from a business point of view. Number 8, how to apply to your favorite employers. Number 9, how to choose the right job offer. Number 10, how to prepare for your new job. And did you know that we offer deep dive e-course workshops and memberships at graduate schools, maybe also at yours in the future? Ask your graduate school coordinator whether they want to book my services so that I can deliver them to you 24/7, 365 on your mobile device. And even better, if you get us paid by your grad school, we will pay you 50% recurrent sales commissions. So you will earn money with us as we help you and your PhD besties to transition into business. We can build a postdoc transformation together. Woohoo! Thanking our advertisers for their financial support, we are happy to return to our inspiring episode. Number 8, I break the ice if no one does. People are very grateful if I break the ice. Even though I don't enjoy it, that is what a leader has to do. And then I ask the others, what was most interesting for you so far from this event? Something like that. Number 9, very practical, very handy. I bring my own name tag and I wear it visibly. And number 10, which is really the prep for the bonus tip, number 11. Number 10 is I listen. I have a paper notepad and a pen ready because it's less distracting and so much more respectful than using my mobile while networking with a group of people. All of that makes it so much easier for number 11 to send a follow-up thank you note after the event via LinkedIn. Now, you might wonder which events are worth your time. How do you prepare and practice an elevator pitch, etc.? So let's step back and plan ahead. You need to have a toolkit for authentic networking. So here's your toolkit. If you want to listen to others and make your listening worthwhile, so how can you be prepared for listening to thoughtful conversations and also remember the right things, right? Well, you can, number 1, master online professional platforms. That is before and beyond job hunting, okay? It's not just LinkedIn. You can use other platforms as well, depending on your niche, depending on your location, etc. LinkedIn is the biggest probably, but it's also the most general. But I bet there are some others in your industry as well. So you have to actively update your LinkedIn profile or whatever profile to reflect your transferable skills for business. And we already talked about transferable skills for business, okay? So I'm not going to detail them out, but instead I can link to the 2 episodes where you can find more orientation. But you need to start by engaging with content from companies and individuals you think are interesting. Share a thoughtful comment, not just a like. If you're thinking of a side project, then you can think of identifying 3 to 5 target companies or industries, and you can follow key leaders and relevant departments on LinkedIn. Okay? So again, engage with these posts, ideally once per day for a week or so. Well, and why is that probably helpful? Because according to the psychological social exchange theory by Thibault and Kelly, when you engage thoughtfully, you are offering value, different perspective, a compliment, or an informed question. This creates a basis for a reciprocal exchange, making it less transactional and more about a mutual contribution. I can tell whether someone who reaches out to me has put a lot of thought or not so much thought into the request. Number 2, embrace the information interview. I already told you a lot in my previous episodes that information interviews are your superpower to bypass, to shortcut into the relevant networks, okay? So these are not job interviews. These are your opportunities to learn and to reach out to someone in a role or industry you're curious about. Ask just a couple of minutes of their time and prepare questions about their career path, daily work, or insights into the industry. Buy them a coffee. Ask them what else they can get from you, so there would be a mutual exchange of information. So how can you find them? Well, you don't have to leave your home for that. You can use an optimized LinkedIn approach. You can use the LinkedIn search, for example, the filters to find people in your desired roles. You can write a brief, polite, and clear message explaining why you would like to connect for an informational chat. Focus on learning and not just asking for a job. Remember, these are not your hiring managers, but instead, these are people who represent that kind of role that you want to apply. And that really is gold, because before I discovered LinkedIn, I had to rely on networking in person. I don't know about you, but if you are also an introvert, then using LinkedIn is really gold, because then without asking and being around with that person, you can decide whether that person would be relevant for an information interview, etc. And then number 3, you can engage in niche online communities. So here's your actionable prompt. Look for industry-specific forums, professional groups on LinkedIn, or even active subreddits on Reddit or something like that related to your target business area. And don't just, lurk passively, but instead you should also read discussions, and maybe you already have valuable insight, and then you can contribute. Even a well-placed question, a genuinely asked question, can start a conversation. And then, of course, you can use also your own research skills, like I already mentioned, to find and analyze these communities, okay? Treat it like a new research project. Identify key players, common topics, and areas where your expertise can add value. And that is, I would say, where a social scientist's expertise will be extremely valuable. Hey, before we continue, we want to appreciate those who finance this valuable episode for you. Remember, you are a postdoc transformer. You are highly intelligent, well-educated, a bachelor, master, and maybe you have already your doctor under your belt, or you are a postdoc. You are internationally experienced, fluent in English, a leader and expert in your prior research field. You're resilient, brilliant in adaptation and problem solving. You are eager to bring in the transferable and monetizable skills needed in many companies to embrace the future and to become or remain an innovator in their markets. Have you found this episode so far helpful for yourself? Well, maybe you can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, or wherever you get our show. And also share this episode with your PhD bestie, because that would encourage us to help the underprivileged, underrepresented, and underserved early career scientists leaping into business. This would also ensure that you don't miss a future episode. Also, our subscription and listening numbers are key for finding the right sponsors for our show so that we can help you for free. And now, back to the show. And then number 4, you can also transform academic connections into business opportunities. I have to explain that. But think about your former lab mates, your supervisors or collaborators. Where are they now? Have they also leaped into business? Well, then you can reach out to them, of course, congratulate them on their success, and genuinely express interest in their journey. Ask for their insights. That's what I do in my postdoc transformation show, of course. And all the people that I have already interviewed, they share their insights and advice with you. And number 5, you need to set realistic networking goals and track progress, okay? Please don't go all over the place. That will be mostly unproductive. But instead, reach out to one new person on LinkedIn each week, or have one information interview per month, or something like that. You need to have a goal that you can track. You can keep a simple log file or so. Who did you contact? What was the outcome? And you can celebrate small wins. And also send a thank you note and remember them later when you are successful in your postdoc transformation. And if you tend to avoid and procrastinate networking, thinking about your career, well, set a reminder to dedicate at least 15 or 20 minutes to LinkedIn activities like that, not just scrolling, but really purposeful connecting and engagement. Right? Even if you have a free profile, you can have about 5 or 4 free contact requests. Think of who you want to contact. That would be already networking preparation. And number 6, you need to develop your business-focused personal pitch. Like I already said, this is not an elevator pitch that you can use every time. It's also not an elevator pitch for the job interview. Remember, it's a networking event. So depending on the networking event itself, you need to be able to precisely say why you are at this event and what kind of problems you can solve, or what kind of problems you would like to solve in a way that resonates with business professionals who are the typical networking attendants of this kind of event. You need to focus on your transferable skills instead of, I researched the role of the thalamus in relational and non-relational memory. I just say that I researched the memory, maybe, or I'm a neuroscientist, I teach, or whatever. So depending on who I will be talking to, I cut down my pitch to the most relevant things. So here's your actionable prompt. Write down 3 to 5 different versions of your personal pitch. You can practice them out loud until they feel natural and authentic. And then you can ask also a trusted friend for feedback. And trust me, you can use AI for that. Hey, postdoc transformer, are you curious to ask professors, principal investigators, visiting scientists, postdocs, PhD students, and candidates some in-depth life and career guiding questions? But it feels cringe, so you end up not asking? Buy our postdoc transformation card game to have more fun and valuable insights in your journal club, lab, and mentoring meetings, lab rotations, during conferences, panels, and breaks at the Mensa. You'll get 10 intriguing mentoring questions per career level. So 10 for PhD students, 10 for postdocs, 10 for professors, 10 for parental scientists, underprivileged and underrepresented and underserved scientists. Check them out with our discount coupon on the Postdoc Transformation shop, linked on postdoctransformation.com. All right. Now comes my favorite segment, which is the psychological model, theory, or concept that I want to share for my students and with you. This one is about building your networking confidence with Bandura's self-efficacy. So, my dear postdoc transformers, let's tackle the problem of what happens if you say, I can't do this. Well, self-efficacy is your belief in your own capabilities so that you can succeed in a particular situation. And for many introverts, the idea of networking may bring a feeling of low self-efficacy. Maybe you believe you're not simply good at it, or it's not you, right? So you believe that you cannot, and guess what? If you believe that you cannot do something, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, embrace the opportunity to learn how to network, because here's the good news. Bandura's theory tells us that self-efficacy isn't fixed. It can be learned and built, especially through these key pathways. Number 1, mastery experiences. These are your distinct successes. Even small wins count. Remember those realistic networking goals I mentioned? Every time you send that LinkedIn message, every information interview you complete, every thoughtful comment or post you get, these are mastery experiences, okay? They prove to yourself that you can do this. You can start small, celebrate those little victories, and watch your confidence grow. I always look into my podcasting statistics, and I'm not bragging about that. I have how many followers, I have so many likes, etc., etc. I always just look at the delta between or from year to year or something like that. Or if I change something, does it relate to more likes or views or shares or something like that? I take that data as a confirmation whether I have efficacy in whatever I do. And for you, it could mean successfully scheduling that first information interview, even if you felt nervous when you asked, is a huge mastery experience. You did it. You asked and you got it. And trust me, out of 10 people you are asking, not all 10 will agree to make an information interview. So you have to ask more people than just one. Even if that first person says no to you, you just need one yes. Okay. And then you can have vicarious experiences. So it's not your own experience, but it's someone you trust or admire. So it's an observational learning, okay? This is learning by watching others. This is incredibly powerful for introverts. And that is the reason why I shared my inspirational role models with you because I was hoping that I could inspire you to do something like them. When you see another scientist who is successful in business, confidently navigating at a networking event or a conversation, it helps you believe that you can do this too. Gives you a blueprint, okay? If you can see someone else achieve success who is also relatable to you, who is similar, just a couple of steps ahead, it makes it more attainable for you, more reachable for you. And then there is also verbal persuasion. You have to find your tribe. You have to find your community. This is encouragement from others that you trust. When I tell you that your scientific background is an asset in business and that your ability to think deeply and connect authentically is incredibly valuable, also my Postdoc Transformation Show listener avatar that I always include in every episode is verbal persuasion. Hopefully, you surround yourself with people who believe in you and your potential. For example, a mentor tells you your analytical skills are exactly what company ABC needs, and that can be incredibly motivating. And you need to also, and one thing about networking, okay, you have to feel comfortable. Remember that I said I'm wearing things that make me feel comfortable? It's about your bodily or affective state, okay? And that refers to managing your own emotional and physical reactions. Of course, you are nervous. That's normal, okay? So if it's the first time that you are reaching out to someone else, of course you will be feeling sweaty, maybe breathless, maybe you start to stutter. But instead, I want to reframe it to you are excited for a new challenge. You are learning something new. And learning to manage that anxiety helps you approach networking with a more positive mindset. You are learning something new. So to be optimally prepared before a networking call, take a few breaths. Listen to a calming piece of music. You can shift your internal state from dreaded to readiness. Okay? All right, so dear Postdoc Transformer, when you feel self-doubt creeping in, remember Bandura. You are not inherently bad at networking. Yes, there are some talents at networking, but everyone can learn networking. You need to simply build your self-efficacy through deliberate practice by observing others who are successful in networking, by listening to positive encouragement, and by managing your internal state. You have the capacity to learn, and the business world needs your authentic voice. Wrapping up, my dear postdoc transformers, the time for your postdoc transformation is now. You have the intellect, the discipline, the unique perspective to thrive in the business world. And don't let the fear of networking hold you. And here's your actionable prompt. Take 5 minutes right now to update your LinkedIn profile or whatever is in your niche with a business-focused headline and summary that highlights your transferable skills. Just yesterday, I updated my LinkedIn profile because, to be honest, every time a new episode is published, I also have an associated LinkedIn banner, okay? Make your headline and summary focus your transferable skills. And you need to write about the problems you solve. And if you're thinking about starting a side business, well, check out also my Create and Reorganize show where I help you as a small business owner or future small business owner and founder how you can market and sell sustainably via video podcast. Hey, before we continue, we want to appreciate those who finance this valuable episode for you. So far, you have learned all my favorite marketing and sales tools. Now, how can you bring all the data from your audience, leads, and clients together so you can serve them on a value ladder and for the long term? Even after multiple touchpoints with you, you want to remain on their mind for when they are ready to buy your service or product. I'm expanding my digital business, and I use ActiveCampaign as the centerpiece of all my services like email course, podcast, newsletter, show notes, website, sales page, merch shop, forms, whatever it is, as needed. As a former IT strategy consultant, I have high requirements on my tech stack, and ActiveCampaign offers so many integrations to all my other apps. I use it daily. If you want to create your own digital business with the various AI-driven lead magnets and funnel options, DM or email me ActiveCampaign so I can share my experience and consult you. Please check it out via my link in the show notes. Again, I only get a small financial reward if you become their customer using my ActiveCampaign link. Are you wondering when and where you can get the attention of your audience? You always think you don't have the time for posting on multiple social media platforms. I totally get you. I have been enjoying weeks of social media breaks during the school breaks while I served my audience with prepared content to be scheduled out as needed. Ideally, you have just derived countless social media content from your one video podcast episode. Even without a podcast, with Metricool, the Swiss Army knife for your social media management, you can create and schedule your content in advance, according to the best posting times based on your followers. For campaigns across many days or weeks, I capitalize on their auto list and repeat features so I can focus on the important things according to my vision of life. If you want to schedule your content on social media, DM or email me Metricool so I can share my experience and consult you. Please check it out via my link in the show notes. Again, I only get a small financial reward if you become their customer using my Metricool link. After this quick appreciation of our sponsors, we are now back in our insightful episode. So regardless whether you want to be a founder, small business owner in business, or you want to have a career in business, you need to embrace networking. And to be able to embrace that, you need to think of what your future of work looks like according to your vision of life, knowing that you will have a much clearer understanding of diverse business paths that you can then network towards. Then you will connect with the potential mentors, collaborators, or even future employees because you are not desperately searching, but you are building genuine relationships, checking out whether this career is something for you. Because now you are meeting people who live that kind of life. And if it's trustworthy, you can check out whether you want that as well or not. And yes, you do that via information interviews and maybe even job interview opportunities that truly align with your skills and your values. And that, my dear postdoc transformer, is strategic networking. Okay? You're not just listening to possibly coincidentally interesting discussions, but instead, because you have already seeded what you were looking for, you will listen and comprehend what they're talking about and be able to connect the bits and pieces into a bigger picture. And that way, you can ask better questions, which is also relevant for networking, and get the answers that you need for your own postdoc transformation. And by that, your postdoc transformation is even more profound because you were in the driver's seat of your postdoc transformation. You'll experience increased confidence, self-efficacy, less anxiety about professional networking because you are getting the results that you need for your own effort. And you are truly a part of a supportive professional community outside of academia because it's not just taking, but instead you are providing also value for others. And perhaps most importantly, you will find out that your unique scientific background will help you to network even more comprehensive and sustainably than as compared to others. I know that you are a scientist inclined to leap into business, but you haven't. And maybe I need to be more clear about that. Let's briefly talk about the alternative. If you're not asking other people, if you're not finding role models, if you're not learning about potential career pathways beyond what you already find on the internet, if you let your fear of networking win, well, you might find yourself feeling behind, isolated in academia, and then you will be finding yourself jobless. And I can tell you that if you are jobless and trying to get a foot on the ground, that is so much harder than now, when you have still a year to go before your contract or your PhD ends or whatever. So you need to network today for a good future tomorrow. Remember that I said it's about relationships that you are genuinely building? Well, that building takes time. And if you don't have time, you might want to rush. If you would be asking me for an information interview and you don't have time and you rush, then I probably will say no to you. And that is why you should start early enough. And maybe then you are still lucky and find a job that is settled. Okay, so it doesn't fully leverage your incredible potential, but that means that you are missing out on these hidden opportunities that you could have found through informal networking. And like I said, the successful people in business, they all master the art of networking. So it's not just something that you have to master at the beginning of your job career, of your postdoc transformation, but instead it will always help you. I have coached a lot of leaders who are bad at networking, which is really bad for them and their teams as well. Because at the end of the day, you might continue to feel misunderstood or undervalued in your professional setting. That can lead to later stagnation in your career growth and potentially reduced long-term earning potential. And ultimately, you could also experience a diminished sense of purpose and fulfillment in your post-academic life. That's not what I want for you, okay? I often ask my students who is happy in the job that he, she, it holds at the moment. And none of them says, I'm really, really happy. But I can tell you, as a professor at an applied university, as a working mom, as a side business owner, professionally, I'm really happy. And that is because I'm embracing networking as my key to unlock my vision of life. It's hard work, but I do that because the cost of inaction is too high. Do you want a transcript of our episode? And our episode sponsors answers to all 6 bold questions so that you can choose to apply. Do you want to nominate your potential employer of choice so that we can ask them our bold questions? For all of that, click on our links in our show notes and on our website, www.postdoctransformation.com. Remember to check your readiness to leap out of science and to enroll in our free email course, Career Transition Made Simple. Thanks for your attention. I'm Professor Dr. Eleonore Soei-Winkels, the host of your seasonal Postdoc Transformation show. Postdoc Transformation.